Good morning, this is Ken Larson. I'm with eXp Realty and I'm with Brent Farmer. We are filming land in Arkansas with Garrett from Satterfield Surveyors. This is another episode just following up on what you need to do once you buy land and just all the normal things like a perk test, and now we are doing a survey today. Brent can kind of show around here. We managed to get one of the foggiest days this year so far, but Garrett has basically the survey laid out here, and what we're going to do on this property is we're going to cut approximately 1 acre off of it, and he's going to do the corners on both sides over here and then come over here and do the corners. You're basically, it's your 4 corners is the whole key to a survey, right?
Correct, and also establishing the existing boundary line so we don't cross into another tract or another piece of property.
Now how do you guys already, you have your the GPS basically pinpoints where you want to be?
For the most part, if it's a newer survey like we got here, where we've recently done it, we've got coordinates on things and we can go check and make sure we're still hitting them. But for the most part, yeah, we know where exactly everything's at and we can kind of compute off that.
And how do you decide which corner you're going to start with?
Usually I start at the easiest one to get to.
I like the way you roll.
Over by the road, I'll check some of them by the road first and see how they go, and then we go from there.
Okay, so we're probably going to start over here and then come back.
Yeah, I'll go to that southeast corner down there, down that lane, and check it, make sure I got this line established, and then we'll get this north line so we know where to go to up here. Okay. And then once we get all that in, we'll just start cutting it out.
And what we're trying to do here is there's actually a home site already cut out up here. We'll walk up there in a minute and kind of show the rocks and everything. We're trying to get right behind it, and as Garrett just said, come over from the road and just cut this piece out of the total. I think there's like 6 acres here. And go from there.
All right, Garrett. So this thing is a pretty cool tool. You know, I kind of know what it does, not really, but I know it connects to the GPS and like marks points. But for all the ladies and gentlemen out there that are watching, would you give us a rundown of what this Carlson BRX7 thing does?
Yeah, no problem. So the Carlson BRX7 is what we call a rover. It's a head unit for our GPS. We got it on our pole here with the nice little level bubble. We connect our data collector, it's made by Carlson, to the head or the GPS rover via Bluetooth. We use a satellite system called SmartNet that we dial into using the internet. So we have a AT&T SIM card inside of our head that uses the SIM card to dial up the internet. So our data collector here can then reference into the station, get connected in, and then with the reference station that we connect to and the satellites in the sky, this thing can triangulate our position and give us what we call a northern and easting, which is basically a Latin long.
Sweet. And then right now we're just finding this is like the corner of the property.
This would be the southeast corner of the property right here, marked by this rebar and cap. And our caps have our survey and license number on them. And what we'll do is we'll get our pole here, set it up on there, get it level, and take a shot. We'll break that fix. We'll take another shot once it fixes again to make sure we're in this good spot. And then once we're good to go, we can keep on trucking.
Hey, Garrett, explain the cap. What
cap? Yes, it's on. We have a piece of rebar on the ground that's about yay long, and we put our plastic cap on it, and it has our PLS number 147. That's my boss's license number. He is the 147th licensed surveyor in the state of Arkansas. And this 1443 is our other licensed surveyor. He's the 1,443rd licensed surveyor in the state of Arkansas. So we just put that on there so any other surveyor can know who set that corner, and they can call us and ask us why we did it there and anything else. So we're responsible for that corner with our cap on it.
So you put that on every corner.
Yes.
This property was surveyed a while back. I think you.
Correct.
About 6 months ago or so when you guys did it.
Yeah.
I guess you'd call that semi-permanent. I mean, someone could rip it out of the ground, but you should have that unless you have some knucklehead steal it from you.
Correct. They're pretty long. They're hard to rip out of the ground, but yes, they can be ripped out. Right. But the good thing about the GPS is we have exact coordinates on where it's at, so we know where it's supposed to be.
To come back and do.
That's how I was able to drive right up to it and know exactly where it was, because this thing was telling me.
Now, how did you decide? Because again, what we're doing is we're going to cut an acre out of this, which it's not difficult, but not easy, because we're not going to a corner and just coming up. How did you decide to start with this corner?
Honestly, what I did was I started at the road first.
Oh, you already did that? Okay.
Yeah, I got one at the road, and then I wanted to measure this line out and make sure I was hitting this line perfectly. And if I wasn't, then I'd at least have what was right on the ground in my collector, so I wouldn't cross this line, and know how far to measure north to the next corner, so we know where that north line is.
So you're on your second step of just double checking this and coming back.
Basically,
so
yes.
Brent had to stop and get his coffee is why we missed the first corner. But
Well, you gotta have your coffee.
So Garrett's over there in the woods, in the wet, in the smog, the fog, whatever it is, finding the north corner. We're over here on the road, just waiting for him to do his thing, and we'll get right back to you. While we're waiting, if you have any questions about buying land in Arkansas, anything about surveying, perk tests, give Ken here a call. Reach out to him days, nights, weekends. He loves answering your questions, getting you connected to the right piece of land for you and what you're looking for, whether that's developing, flipping, whatever it is. If it's land in Arkansas, give Ken a call.
to give you an idea on the survey, they don't like to give prices when they come out here. This land, as you heard us talk a minute ago, has already had the corners put down, and we're cutting it, so it's easier for them to do it. I'm going to guess to cut that acre out is probably going to be $500–600. When you get into like a piece of land that hadn't been surveyed in a long time, and it's a larger piece of land, say 40 acres, you could be looking at $2–3,000 pretty easily. But this is a fairly simple deal here. So, in your budget, prepare for what needs to be done. And if you buy a piece of land and it hasn't been surveyed, you definitely need to get it surveyed because you want to know exactly what you own.
Yeah, and the more they have to hike around, the more money it costs.
Ching ching.
So for reference, this gravel drive that you can't really see because it's so dang foggy today is on the south side of the property, and we're going to give you an overlay of the map here and kind of point out what we're doing and where the land's going to be cut off, and so you can kind of follow along a little bit better.
So what we're doing here is the rock line we showed in the very beginning, we're going right behind it and coming down here, and we're just trying to make sure there's enough room here to get in and out on the road here, which there should be, don't you think?
Yeah, because you see where I took my last shot on the driveway down there? From that spot, I'm east of it a good ways.
Can you show them? That's
Yeah,
pretty, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's that thing. Let me get this up. So that's the general shape of it. And you can see on the bottom side is the curvy road, and then that's the curvy road right there. So that's him just measuring out those points.
And this is the main road right here.
Correct.
To give you an idea on what we're looking at. So I'm going too far. This is the tract, which is 6.39 acres. You're going to cut right in the middle here. You kind of get an idea where you were getting your corners, and you had to back in down here with the footage.
Correct.
And redo those. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You need to get one of those, Brent. So you're putting the first corner in here, mainly because we were in this area, right? There's no rhyme or reason for it.
Correct. So I didn't have to walk back up here. Yeah, they make sure we can work by ourselves.
And there's your informational cap.
Put this off in the ditch out of the way. And there she is.
So Garrett, we're down to two corners already. We've got two more to do on the other side. I was curious, how did you get into this business, or do you have to apprentice, or do you go to school, or?
I was fortunate. I got on-the-job training. To get the license, though, to actually sign the plats like what we're doing, you have to go to school, you have to go to college, you have to have time in the field and all that. But me personally, I work under a license, so I don't need all that.
Well, you did the smart way.
Yeah, well, they make more money with the license, though, so.
Okay, so they have to go probably pass the certification.
Yes,
and all that
there's
good
a
stuff
state
like
and a
that.
federal exam they have to pass and all that.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you letting us film here, and I don't know if you had anything to add. It's just kind of a neat little thing to show people what it entails to get the place surveyed. Remember, 4 corners, and you've got to start somewhere.
Right. Yeah, if you have any questions, we're always here. If you're in the Arkansas, Oklahoma area, give Satterfield Land Surveyors a call.
Sounds good. Brent, you got anything other than thank you, and we'll see you next time?
That's it.
Have a good day. Ken Larson.